let's look at our Sai combination that we've been working on, which is punch, strike, rotate, over the head, block, the window wiper, lift, slice, strike, pull in, and stab. So let's look at that against our dummy here. So first of all, punch is relatively easy. You're punching with the butt of the side here, straight forward. Now the best spot to hit is for the face area, because you want that to crack the sinus cavities, maybe crack the skull, and you've got a nice firm grip, so it becomes quite a solid object hitting your opponent. Our next one is our vertical strike like this here. So we're not slicing at the moment, we are pressing with the thumb, and it becomes a heavy strike. I've heard instructors, everybody has their own idea, say that you shouldn't be striking with the thumb because you're going to break your thumb. I doubt it. This is me striking with the thumb, pressing, it's not breaking. Right, now from here, once I've struck, I'm going to keep contact and rotate past my shoulder. So the idea here is that if I find myself under pressure on that side, I've got two options. I can go around this side, or I can be pushing against whatever is resisting me, all of a sudden letting that go, and then striking. So, it is a punch, strike, we put pressure against it, and then we strike. A little bit difficult to see against the dummy here, but the idea is that this knocks here. Then, from this point here, here you are either deflecting or doing a throw. This gets a bit complicated. We're looking only at the strikes for now. So it might be that I'm deflecting and then striking. But it is also a valid idea to imagine the prong locking into a limb and taking the person to the floor. It's a little bit more complicated way of looking at it. But like I say, for now we stick to the strikes. So from here, it's our punch, our strike, pressure, release. Now the next movement is with the prong hooking into my opponent's neck. So here you shouldn't think I'm blocking a kick or I'm blocking a low strike. Probably possible, but think offensively rather than defensively. So that means I'm using this to hook into the neck and taking the person down. Right, that should then theoretically be the end of that fight. If we look at our next basic that goes from the bottom here, now it's a slice and then an attack. It has a more valid application than strikes, in the sense of if this opponent, if we look at size in terms of their time of usage, this guy maybe has a sword. So at this point here, this doesn't really become a strike against my opponent's face or slicing through the eyes. This becomes taking the sword that is pointing at me out the way, then striking down against the arm that is controlling the sword, the right arm, so with my right here against the right, and then it is putting pressure, stabbing that prong down against the arm, and then from here obviously just beat the hell out of the guy. So this guy's got a sword, so if we look at this movement, it's 1, 2, and 3. So you should think this is not a strike, you miss, but it's a sword, so you deflect that. You just want that sword out your face just for a split second. Then attack the right arm and drive that prong through into your opponent's right arm. Okay, so we've looked at this basic. Our next movement is lift, through, and strike. what I see there is that my arm is being controlled. So again, this has got nothing to do with striking my opponent. For that, we've got this, we've got that, we've got this, and we've also got our stabs. So why this funny, complicated movement? I see that as trying to break out of a grip. So again, just like me trying to control my opponent's arm if he has a sword, or she has a sword, the idea now is that as my sai is in action, my wrist gets grabbed. I'm going to pull my wrist out the way, then I'm going to move up, I'm going to break out of the grip, and then immediately I'm going to strike. Take into account the left hand is also currently doing a job. But from here, my arm's being restrained, I'm pulling out of it, out, and I'm ready to hit, because from here, I might still be trapped. But at this point here, I've got the pointy end pointed at my opponent, not the pointy end pointed to me. So if my arm gets grabbed, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. I want the pointy end at my opponent for any possibility of a stab. Once my wrist is in a position where I can control the movement here, I go underneath it, I lift up, pointy end still at my opponent, and then I attack. Right, let's look at the next movement. My opponent might be grabbing my arm. So from here, again, almost the same as we pull in, but we're going to pull our wrist out the way here, pull to us, and then be able to deliver a stab. So again, this is probably close quarters here. Sai might be grabbed, pull, stab. Okay, so that concludes all the applications behind our basic sequence.